Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I'll be your judge, jury, and your analyst. I know I've pumped out a bunch of content today, but guess what? The top performers for the Great League Remix just got updated. So here's Great League Remix Top Teams Part 2. So, as you see here, we will analyze, or I will analyze the top 5 teams, most powerful teams for the... Oh wait, hold on, I kind of jacked... Hold on. You see, after you go to top performers, you do this. You gotta make sure you have the right stuff. You see, Jellicent is the emperor of Great League Remix, as you see here, so rightfully so. Anyways, this is part 2. As you see here, I will be analyzing the top 5 teams for the Great League Remix. And, well, part 2 for the Great League Remix. As you see, some of the teams on here are still the same as before, but a huge change has happened since then. A lot of these teams are really spicy, and I've seen a lot of them in the Great League Remix. Anyways, let's get started. Alright, so team number 5 is actually really interesting. So, if you have a Mandibuzz, this team has Mandibuzz lead, Alolan Ninetales, it's the Charmtails, and you have a Toxicroak. I think Charmtails is your... I'm assuming Charmtails is your safe switch for this team. Toxicroak might be as well, but I'm pretty sure A9 is, so A9... my guess is you switch to A9 and you try to 2-shield your way to victory. You sacrifice A9, farm down with Toxicroak, whatever's in front of you, like a Bastiodon, and then hopefully Toxicroak with 1,000 energy, and Mandibuzz can finish off your opponent. So that's me assuming how this team actually works. That's my assumption of how the team works. Anyways, as you see here, this team is actually really good across the board. It is great coverage, bulk, safety, and amazing consistency. This team is going to do a lot of damage for you. Interesting enough, this team actually has a very, very high rating. It's 552, which means it is team number 5. But to give you a glimpse, team number 1 is at 585, which it's very interesting because teams 2 through 5 basically have about like a 5-point difference. So but number 1 obviously is the King of Swing. But as you see here, team number 5, if you see it, it actually is really good. Mandibuzz, Alolan Ninetales, and Toxicroak. Yes, this team doesn't really have a safe switch, but Charmtails using a Charmtails, doing heavy damage, then like I said, far now with Toxicroak, that's not a bad strat. Because I can't really see a safe switch with this strat, but then again, Charm 2 Shield A9 can deal with a lot of things, so just putting that out there. But as you see here, this team is very powerful. Covers a lot of core meta picks, with the exception of Bastiodon. If you see Bastiodon, I'm assuming you throw Toxicroak into it, and hopefully Toxicroak can take out whatever's in front of you, because Mandibuzz and Alolan Ninetales really don't like Bastiodon. Anyways, as you see here, their core breakers is, of course, Bastiodon. Why the... Okay, so, yeah, like, that's why I'm kind of confused at how this team works. If Bastiodon's in the back, it's not that bad. If it's in the lead, this kind of sucks, because... Yeah, you safe switch into Toxicroak. You try to 2-shield your way through Toxicroak, but you need to bank a Mud Bomb for whatever's in the back. So it's a really interesting team. As you see here, there's also other core breakers like Alolan Ninetales. So Ninetales itself are, yeah, I think that's regular Ninetales, or I'm guessing that's an Alolan. I think is that an Alolan Ninetales or is this regular? I can't really put my finger around it. I think this is regular Ninetales or Alolan Ninetales. So I think Alolan Ninetales are the Charm variation, pretty much destroys Mandibuzz, even the Power Snow one does. So if you do happen to get a Ninetales in the lead, it's a bad idea for you, even if you do have an Air/Mandibuzz, just because Ninetales is very powerful as a Charm or Powder Snow. So that sucks. The other thing that sucks is basically the Charm lead. Wigglytuff and Clefable love seeing Mandibuzz in the lead. And, fun fact, Altaria actually destroys you as well as in Mandibuzz in the league. Yes, you had in the back row, you do have Alolan Ninetales and Toxicroak. However, Altaria is very good against Mandibuzz and Toxicroak. This team I think this team is good, but I don't think it relies on it really having a safe switch. As you see here, there's a lot of things that will kill you if Alolan Ninetales is taken out. For example, yes, you could toss out Toxicroak. You basically sacrifice Toxicroak to the gods, and then Alolan Ninetales with 2 shields or Mandibuzz can handle the back row. But at the same time, if they have a Mana Buzz, as you see, like, it's really weird. Basically, with Pokemon Go, there's something called realignment. Y'all probably already know what realignment is. With teams like this that don't really have a safe switch, you're basically, you're kind of trying to play rock, paper, scissors, or just banging that you have a really strong matchup against whatever's left. Because like I said, if you try to safe switch, or if you throw A9, you throw Toxic Rook into something, there's a lot of holes in the front and the back. So that's what makes a team that, I mean, it can take you to rank 10/3000 Elo, because I've actually done it before. So again, no safe switch strats are very ballsy and very difficult to use, but they can still work. So I'm guessing that's how this works as well. There are certain ways to play out Mana Buzz to where you can leave a 2-shield Toxic, a 2-shield Alola Ninetales, Charmtails, or a 2-shield Toxic Rook. So this is a very unique team. Somewhat low threat score, but like I mentioned, this team, if you plan on using this, I would practice a little bit with it before you actually throw it in the water, because like I said, this team doesn't really have a safe switch. You hear that? You hear that? It's the sound of tapping. Team number 4 features a Whimsicott lead, Bastion. Oh, and why would you put this combination together? We don't need Bastion and well, it's already been done anyways, but you know what? This is Whimsicott Bastion with Beedrill in the back. So there is a reason why I use Beedrill. Beedrill is a great anti-meta pick. It also can take out Bastion, and it can take out Registeel if you could double Drill Run or a singular Drill Run depending on how much chip damage you have on it. That's why I love Beedrill. So, I'm assuming this team uses Beedrill as a safe switch, and then Whimsicott and Bastion go to town. So, if you don't beat it with Beedrill, you're probably going to beat it with Bastion or with Whimsicott. So, yeah. Basically, Beedrill is a sacrifice. As you see here, this team has good coverage and good safety, impressive bulk just because of Bastion, and good consistency. So, Bastion makes it, as you see here, this team absolutely hates Registeel. If you see one, you can't get Beedrill on it, or if you can't flamethrower it down, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to die. Just keep that in mind. But as you see here, this team is actually very, very powerful. If you catch things like an Altaria, you can take it down. You take out a lot of lead patterns with Whimsicott. But, like I said, Bastion. Hello, good sir. Meet Bastion. Bastion, as you see here, unless you have an XL Bastion, which is very hard to get and very expensive, you don't beat the Bastion in the mirror. So it's this team is basically an RPS team. Beedrill, I'm assuming, is kind of like your YOLO safe switch, or you sacrifice Whimsicott to farm down with Beedrill and hopefully finish off whatever's in the back with Bastion. That's my guess of how this team works. You're either going to safe switch into Beedrill, sacrifice Whimsicott, sack your lead, and then try to do as much damage as you can, farm down with Beedrill or Bastion. It's interesting. However, here's the thing. There's a lot of things that core break this team, even though it does beat a lot of popular metas, as you see here. There is a lot of core breakers. Well, they're not really popular per se, but as you see here, things like Regirock, Wishcash, Diggersby. You can see Wishcaches and Diggersby. I've seen a lot of them actually, and it's not a bad idea because of Registeel and Bastion running rampant. As you see here, Wishcash and Diggersby can give you a problem. The thing about Whimsicott is that Wishcash can go straight Blizzard and break both of your shields, so there is, like, Wishcash isn't a terrible matchup. But, again, just keep that in mind. Regirocks are out there. I've seen some Regirocks. Regirocks can give you a hard time just because Stone Edge, it gets to Stone Edge really, really fast. Also has Focus Blast. So with Stone Edge, Focus Blast, Bastion and Beedrill absolutely get destroyed in the back. So, and that's not even the biggest of your problems. Your biggest problem is Registeel. Registeel, if you see in the lead, it's very difficult to come back. Just because no matter what you do, even if you say so, Beedrill is your only way out of Registeel. Bastion takes a while to get to Flamethrower, so Bastion's gonna get yeeted by a Focus Blast from Registeel. Whimsicott dies to Flash Cannon from Registeel's your worst nightmare. If you see one, pray. Well, I guess that's what it is. Like, this team either wins hard or... These RPS... This is an RPS team for sure. You're either gonna win hard with this team or lose hard with it. The reason why you have Whimsicott in front is just because Whimsicott is an annoyance. As you see here, it does really well against a lot of lead patterns. So, chances are you will catch something good. Unless it is a Registeel or a Bastion, as you see here. And Bastion is very popular in the lead. That's why the threat score is so high. So, at your own peril, at your own risk, use team number 4 and away. Shout out to my boy and teammate BattleBill, because Diggersby, I'm assuming this is an XL Diggersby has made it into the top 5. I'm assuming this is a Diggersby XL. It has to be, as you see here. Diggersby XL is a beast. Diggersby XL lead, Cresselia, and Alolan Ninetales. So the big reason why this team is really, really good is for 2 reasons. One, Diggersby Fire Punch hurts Ice types a lot. It also hurts Grass types a lot. So Diggersby isn't, well, it depends. Just make sure it's not Meganium or you're going to hate life. Anyways, Diggersby does actually can do really well. This team features a Cresselia Safe Switch and Charm Tails. Charm A9, you already know it. 2 shields, give that thing 2 shields, and it destroys a lot of things. Cresselia is your Safe Switch for this team, and Diggersby is your lead. Diggersby, especially as an XL, as you see here, will have an this team is super safe. Cresselia is the most powerful Safe Switch as of right now. It is also incredibly powerful as a Safe Switch, just because it's the most powerful one. Grass Knot has a lot of coverage against said Jellicent. It also has Moonblast, and if you get the debuff, it's great for you. As you see here, you also have it's insanely safe. So this team is incredibly safe. You have 2 really thick and tanky mons. It has good coverage and good consistency. This is a really solid team. Diggersby is also great because of 1 of 2 things. You destroy Bastion and Registeel. You can also be Deoxys defense. Diggersby is so bulky that because you resist unless they're running Psycho Boost, because you resist Thunderbolt and you resist Rock Slide, Diggersby goes to town with Earthquake and Fire Punch, so it's really freaking good. Of course, you're going to hate the fact that if you have a fighter in the lead, but as you see here, outside of the fighter lead, it does really well against a lot of combinations, as you see here. It also is able to have a chance against the Ghost Archetype, so it can beat Jellicent, and it also can beat Sableye, just because normal double resist Ghost. So, it's also very strong against the Ghost Archetype. There's a lot of plays you could do with Diggersby. You could either win the lead outright, or you could sacrifice Diggersby and have Alola Ninetales with 2 shields, and then Cresselia just goes to town. So there's a lot of ways you can play this team, but I like it a lot, and it's really, really good. There's not a lot of popular core breakers either. As you see here, your biggest core breakers are Charizard, Ivysaur, Tangrowth, Ho-Oh, Moltres, and Germanian Standard. How many of those do you see in Great League Remix? Probably none of them, and if you do, they are very, very uncommon. That's why I really like this team, because as you see here, it does really, really well against a lot of things. However, you must be careful of Altaria leads. You also must be careful of Meganium. Basically, anything Diggersby is weak to, Cresselia is likely going to be weak to as well. That's why Alola Ninetales with 2 shields is basically your way out. Should you lose the lead against Diggersby XL, Safe Switch into Cresselia, break shields, and try to farm down with Diggersby, create some plays, or save 2 shields with Ninetales, either way. However, your biggest core breakers are really nowhere to be found. So this is a very solid team. If you have it and you're using it, it's really good. Again, it features Diggersby. Again, shout out to my boy BattleBill. Make sure you follow him on Twitch. And you probably know his YouTube channel. He's a beast. Love him to death. He's a cool dude. Best Safe Switch in Cresselia and the Charm A9. The second most powerful team in the Great League Remix Part 2 is actually an ABB team with Shadow Beedrill, Jellicent, and Wishcash. So, Poison B/B with a Jellyfish and a Daddy Cash that takes your money, and also Yeast and Altaria with 1-shot with Blizzard if you hit it. If you hit an Altaria with Blizzard or Tropius, they will die in 1 shot. And then they will take your money after they win the battle. Anyways, as you see here, this team is very, very interesting. This is an ABB team, but this is the first time I've ever seen like an ABB team reach number 2 on the rankings. Literally, I've never seen an ABB team reach number 2. So this is really, really cool. So the second most powerful team is an ABB team. It has good coverage, good bulk, great safety, just because Jellyman can take shields from you, and then Wishcash is like a machine gun. And Beedrill, which Shadow Beedrill's a beast. Great, amazing safety, great consistency. It doesn't have a lot of coverage or bulk just because Beedrill isn't really the thickest thing in Synthesized Spread, so it doesn't make it up for Jellicent, and Wishcash doesn't make up for it either. As you see here, you basically have double coverage to what you are weak to. Registeel and Bastion can give you problems with Shadow Beedrill. However, you have Jellicent as a safe switch. I like Jellicent as a safe switch a lot. Or if you want to, you can switch to Daddy Cash and put a lot of pressure on them. I would actually throw Jellicent as your safe switch and then try to farm down with Daddy Cash or try to get some energy with it. Because Wishcash, there's not a lot of things outside of grass types that can beat Wishcash. And if you Blizzard said grass type or flying types with Wishcash, it's going to suck for your opponent. Again with the Altaria reference. There's a reason why the Titanic sunk. It's because it was hit by an iceberg. When you get hit by a blizzard by an opponent, guess what comes up from below you? An iceberg. Anyways, enough with the jokes. As you see here, this team is incredibly powerful against a lot of the meta. Now, there is a little bit of a problem. Scroll down below here, please, because as your potential threats, as far as Mandibuzz and Jellicent, are actually very popular. Jellicent can be your worst nightmare just because Beedrill is X's. The only thing you hit that actually does neutral damage against Jellicent is Drill Run. It does resist your Poison Jab. It also resists your X Scissors. You can tell I have a lot of experience with Beedrill versus Ghost types. Also, if you Jellicent on Jellicent, just be aware, if you don't win the mirror match, it kinda sucks, because Jellicent with energy is a monster. Take it for someone that uses it as a lead, and also in their best line, as of right now. As you see here, Wishcash is a great back row, but there's a lot of core breakers here, particularly Jellicent and Mandibuzz. Those two are semi-popular, and they can give you somewhat of a problem if you can't play out of them. A way you could play out of Mandibuzz, if you see in the lead, you could try to switch into Wishcash and Blizzard it to death, or try to X-Scissor out with Beedrill, because Shadow Beedrill with X-Scissor, double shielding both of those aerial aces, and then trying to farm down Mandibuzz, or try to make something happen. Again, Jellicent and Mandibuzz are somewhat popular or common leads, or they're common in the line, so just make sure you're aware for them and be prepared for them. Not saying you can't beat them, but very difficult to play around them. Also, your back row really hates grass types, which is why Abomasnow has a fun time with Jellicent or Wishcash, or if there was a Meganium in the back. So be very careful of any grass type Pokemon or grass type moves, as in Cresselia. As you see, Cresselia's Grass Knot does have... There's a reason why Cresselia is the best safe switch in the game. It does really well against the water archetype, especially if it's a mud boy. As you see here, Wishcash will get yeeted by a Grass Knot. Jellicent will also take heavy damage against Grass Knot, even if Cresselia is debuffed. So even if you do fire Bubble Beam, give them a -1, it's still going to hit you really hard with the Grass Knot. However, this team is very powerful. Again, you just have to be careful of Jellicent and Mandibuzz and pretty much everything else I mentioned before, like Cresselia, Scrafty, etc. But you still beat Cresselia, Scrafty, and Abomasnow in the lead with Beedrill, so just be careful. Like, your core breakers aren't super popular. They're not one of them super meta, but like they're not super common. So again, make sure you play accordingly. Wishcash or Jellicent will be your safe switch accordingly, and then you can try to come out of it with Beedrill or Jellicent, or however you decide to play it. Or you could sacrifice Beedrill outright. Just make sure Bastiodon isn't in the lead, because if it is, it's going to kill you. It's going to hurt. Those knockdowns are going to hurt a lot, especially because it's a Shadow Beedrill. And now, drumroll please, the most powerful team in the Great League Remix Part 2 is actually one that I put on my top 5 teams for the Great League Remix. No, seriously, this was on my top 5 teams. I don't take responsibility for breaking them because I actually didn't use it. Actually, I did use it at like some point, but I don't believe I actually like put enough work into it to actually break it into the system. As you see here, this team has a ridiculous rating. The rating for this team is 585 versus 558. In other words, it's a whooping 27 points above the other one. In other words, this team is insanely powerful. As you see here, Altaria, Registeel, and Vigoroth dominate the Great League Remix meta in Part 2, which is actually really interesting. Again, I'm pretty happy about it, but I know I didn't break it in, but to make a video before it actually came on the rankings makes me pretty happy. I am one of the best analysts. I am one of the best analysts in the game, so yeah. Okay, enough bragging rights. Let's get started. So I've already reviewed this team before. However, I pretty much can tell you now that it has great coverage, great safety, good bulking, good consistency. This team is really solid. Vigoroth is your safe switch. Registeel is your closer. Registeel is the most powerful closer. Vigoroth is an incredibly powerful safe switch, taking the number 2 spot for Part 2 outside of Cresselia. But Vigoroth is still a solid safe switch. I think the difference between 1 and 2 is super meager. It's really not a lot, so you don't have to worry about it too much. You see down here, as you see here, there's a lot of combinations that this team beats. Altaria is a very beastly lead. It can actually beat Registeel on the 2 shield just because Dragon Breath is overpowered, so just keep in mind that even if you do see a Registeel or a Bastiodon, you can Sky Attack it down or Dragon Pulse it. It is possible. I've seen it before. It can be done again. But it's also very powerful against a lot of powerful archetypes, like it basically beats all of the fighters, as you see here. It destroys Scrafty, it destroys Medicham. It also beats out... Jellicent also has a huge problem against Altaria for the sheer virtue that if you cannot bait it with Bubble Beam, or if Jellicent doesn't have Ice Beam, you're in a lot of trouble. Just because Shadow Ball takes a while to get to, and Altaria's Dragon Breaths do add up, like I said. And as you see here, it also beats Mandibuzz, Sableye. It beats a lot of popular leads, and it hates Politoed. Or rather, Politoed hates you. If Politoed doesn't have Blizzard, then you're kind of in trouble because Altaria pretty much walls you. So, Altaria is a very powerful lead with, again, the X most powerful safe switch, but it's not that bad. It's number 2 and the most powerful closer. So, yeah, it's really, really good. So, as you see here, this team is insanely powerful. I've already showed it before. This team has a real low... The threat score is in the low 600s. So, it's 653 No, wait, that's Deoxys defense putting. Okay, so it's still pretty high, but the reason being, but it's still really freaking good. These three are very, very powerful. Altaria, I believe, is in the top 10. Registeel is the #1 closer, and Vigoroth is the #2 safe switch as of right now. And like I said, Cresselia and Vigoroth, they aren't too far apart from each other, so Vigoroth is still an incredibly powerful safe switch. And as you see here, your core breaker, as in Mantine, Poliwrath, and Hitmonchan, you probably haven't seen those in Great League Remake. I've seen one Poliwrath, but I haven't really seen a Mantine. The likelihood of you seeing your core breaker is very, very low. That's why this team is so freaking good. You also can beat out Wishcash, and you can beat out Regirock. Yes, you'll be down shields, and you have to expend a shield with Wishcash just because you don't want to get blizzarded, but this team is still insanely powerful. You're not likely to see a Melmetal. You're not likely to see a Frostless either. I mean, I've seen it, but you're not likely to see it. I would say one of your biggest problems, as far as the most common patterns, is literally the last one here, which is basically a Alolan Ninetales. If it's Charm 89 or Power Stone 89, of course Altaria loses against it, so Safe Switch into Vigoroth, then try to get it lined up into Registeel. Again, if you have Altaria, you can Sky Attack it down or Dragon Breath it down if you can get enough damage on Alolan Ninetales. Again, this is the most powerful team. Very, very solid if you're using it. I'm not really surprised, but I'm also not surprised because like I said, this was actually in my top 5 teams for the Great League Remix. Just never imagined it would pop up on here. That's pretty cool. It's always cool when you see a team that you suggested is on there for like the second half, and it's really, really freaking powerful. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, these teams are really, really strong. It's really cool to see some variety in the Great League Remix. As you see here, the top 5 is quite a surprise because a lot of these teams are really, really cool, featuring like really different ones like Diggersby XL. Team number 3 can go to hell just because it's a tap team. Team number 5 and team number 2 are really, really cool just because team number 5, like the Rise of Mandibuzz, if you have one, like I said, I don't know which one of you is going to hatch a 12k egg and then power up a Mandibuzz. I certainly won't do it just for this, but you know what? Maybe one day I will. Team number 2 is also really cool just because, like I said, there's an ABV team that actually reached the number 2 spot, which is really, really nuts. And of course, the number 1 most powerful line is Altaria, Registeel, and Vigoroth. Again, it's really cool to see, but number 1 is actually also kind of budget-like, just because Altaria only costs 10k dust. Altaria is also very easy to obtain. Registeel, not so much. Vigoroth, you might be able to find one out there because it's been out for a while, but it's pretty cool. Like I said, number 1 team is 27 points above the rest, so if you have that team, you might want to try give it a shot because it's a really cool team to use, and you might, and I did have it on my top 5 budget teams. I mean, actually, I think it was on... No, it was on, like, my top 5... It was on my Vigoroth... I think it was on my Vigoroth video, and it was on my top 5 teams for the Great League Remix. So, yes, please use it. And credit me for it. I'm just kidding. You don't need to credit for it. But, again, it was just pretty cool to see it suggested on here. Anyways, I hope this information really does help you guys. Again, these teams have statistically proven to take you to Legend or get you a bunch of ELO to your next goal. Please, if you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe. Good luck in Go Battle League analysis. I mean, not Go Battle League analysis, your Go Battle League sets. What I meant to say is that this analysis just came today, so the Great League Remix rankings just got updated today. So, again, don't be surprised if I'm pumping out a lot of content because, again, it got released today, so that's why I'm making a video right now. Anyways, if you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe. I do as much as I can to help you guys out to be prepared for future cups and for the current cups. And I release date all the time. Good luck in Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!